perfect arm joints are really important in your rig, whether you use constraints or not. In this video, we will create a guide that we can reuse to get perfect joints every time. We want to be super accurate for this, so we're going to be working in the drawing view with our grid tool turned on. I'm also going to add some alignment guides on my X and Y axis. Finally, we can even turn on snap to alignment guides when we start drawing our artwork. If you don't see this toolbar, you can go to Window, Toolbars, and choose Alignment Guides. Now we're ready to draw our artwork. So to start out, I'm going to create a drawing node and label it Joint Guide. We're going to be using two different colors and our ellipse tool. Let's start with the red. Because we have snapping turned on, you'll see that my cursor kind of snaps to the center point. Now if we hold Alt and Shift and drag out, we can drag a perfect circle from the center. I'm going to keep it relatively small, maybe just one grid box wide. If we go to our color art and fill the color art, we can select it and hold Alt and Shift. We can drag it back down to the center. We'll zoom in a little bit more and make it small. So if we turn on this eye, you'll see we have an outer circle and an inner circle that tells us where the pivot point is. But we're not done yet. Using our second color, on our line art, we're going to use the line tool now. And we're going to draw a straight line down the center and a straight line across our circle. These are going to help us when we match the joint to an actual character design. We can copy our lines with Control-C, Control-Shift-V, and we can move them to the edge. Control-C, Control-Shift-V. We can hold Shift and use our arrow keys to move it perfectly on the X-axis. Since this is our drawing guide, we can zoom in, and if we hold K, we can actually see where these points intersect. So you see these dots? So if I select my line and I use my arrow keys to move it, you'll see that even though it looked like it was intersecting, now we know exactly where the line intersects. That's a level of accuracy that's really, really important to have. So on the other side, I can zoom in with K and just shift until I see my points disappear. Now I know that these lines are perfectly intersecting. And we can do the same thing with our horizontal lines. Control-C, Control-Shift-V. Right, let's zoom in and just make sure that they're intersecting perfectly. So now that our guides are done, we can use our red arrow, select the green, cut it, and paste it on the underlay so it doesn't get in the way. Now our guide is ready to template and bring into any rig that we want. Right, so you notice when we go back to the camera view, it's exactly in the center point. That's kind of what we want. So we select our node, we copy, we go over to our library and choose any folder you want. We can paste it in there, rename it. Now we could drag it into any scene we want. And we have a perfect joint guide ready to use. Right, so that saves you a little bit of time so we don't have to keep creating this guide every time we need to use it. The next video, we're going to see how we can use this guide to create the pieces of our arm.